1.3 fraction estimation. I can estimate fraction.
Did you say 1.3?
Yes.
3.1 you mean. 3.1 fraction estimation, says Kennedy. Thank you, Kennedy. Vocab. Sum, difference, you're good with. Fraction, you're good with. Estimate would be an educated guess based on your math fact knowledge, and you're going to see how that's going to be valuable coming up here when we move into estimating fractions. Class, how many possible choices do you have when you're estimating a fraction? How many possible choices, Sebastian? When you're estimating a fraction, you have an infinite amount of choices? Two?
Wait.
You have 3 choices when estimating a fraction. The choices are what, Sebastian?
0, 1/2, or 1.
There's 0, 1/2, or 1. Remember, fractions live between what 2 numbers on the number line? On the count of 3, tell me. 1, 2, 3.
0 and 1.
0 and 1. So what we're trying to do is we're taking any fraction we're given, and we're determining if it's closer to 0, if it's closer to 1/2, or if it's closer to 1. The way we do that is we use number lines. So if you look at our very first problem, 1/10. This was our problem. We needed to determine if 1/10 was closer to 0, 1/2, or 1. And I know a lot of you know the answer beforehand, before you do anything, but I'm making you draw a number line to prove it to me. So on our number line, we started with our benchmarks. I like to call them benchmarks. We started with 0, we started with 1/2, and we started with 1. And then we determined in terms of tenths, because what's our denominator here? In terms of tenths, what is 0? Everybody, what is 0 in terms of tenths?
0.
What is 1 in terms of tenths?
10.
What is 1/2 in terms of tenths?
5.
5/10. So now that we have our benchmarks set, we just finished our number line off. Since this right here is 0/10, this would be 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, and so on and so forth, right? Now 1/10 was our problem, so we put 1/10 on our number line and we labeled it 1/10, and then we had to determine, is 1/10 closer to 0 or is it closer to 1/2? 0. And we don't even consider the number 1 because it's already past 1/2, right? So the answer for the fraction estimation for 1/10 is 0. Sliding down to letter B, you have another example of this. I'm not going to talk about that one. Letter C, you have another example. But on letter C, this is a very important one, we ended up in the middle. We ended up in the middle of 0 and 1/2. And you guys told me the answer was 1/2. Why did we go to 1/2? Luke, why did we go to 1/2?
Because if it's in the very middle, you push it further.
Yeah, it's just like estimating, right? It's just like rounding, I mean. 5 and above, give it a shove. The reason we say 5 and above, give it a shove, 5's in the middle, we have to decide which way to go. We always say push it up to the next one.
Yeah.
Same thing with rounding. If we're smack dab in the middle between 2 choices, in this case 0 and 1/2, you give it a shove. So we gave it a shove to 1/2. Yes or no? Yes. The other tricky part to this whole thing was if you're dealing with a numerator that has a odd value. So notice we have the fraction 7/9. We gave our 0 in terms of ninths. We gave our 1 in terms of ninths. But look at our 1/2 in terms of ninths. We had to take the 9 and cut it in half. So half, using ninths, a half would be 4.5 over 9. Then how did we number these, you guys? Well, how are these all numbered? By what?
By 0.5.
By 0.5. We've numbered by 0.5. So if we're starting right here with 0.5, okay, 4.5 I mean, this is 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, and then 7. Okay? Is this closer to the number 1 or is it closer to the number 1/2?
1.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4 from 1. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from 1/2. Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay. Mixed number estimation. This is going to be a longer video. I'm sorry. Mixed number estimation. Is there any work required?
No.
You have 2 answers. On the count of 3, tell me what your 2 answers are when giving a mixed number. 1, 2, 3.
Equal to
Never mind that. If you're given a mixed number, you're going to estimate, or your estimate choices are going to be 2 possibilities. One would be the given number, and the other would be the
next number.
next number up. And the way you're going to determine that is you're going to look at the numerator and you're going to look at the denominator. Is this numerator at least halfway to the denominator?
Yeah.
So what do?
You round it up.
You push it to
4.
4. Is this numerator on 26 1/9 halfway to the denominator?
No.
No, so we leave it alone. We leave it at 26. Okay? And then down below, the last one, we'll make this quick. You are simply adding or subtracting. If you're given two fractions, I want to see your number lines, and I want to see how you determine the value of 7/8 when estimating. I want to see how you determine the value of 1/12 when estimating. We drew our arrows to show our number lines. What's 1 plus 0 after we got our answers? What's 1 plus 0, you guys? 1. Okay, down below on the next one, you have a fraction and a mixed number. Is there any work to show for a mixed number?
No.
Yes or no?
No.
Is there work to show for a fraction?
Yes.
So the work for this fraction is right there. Add them together. We got our answer, which I believe was 3. Questions?